Everyone, this will just be kind of a, I don't know, fun little show and tell video, I guess. I had, at the beginning of the month, picked out, I don't know, like 150 books or whatever that I wanted to read throughout the year. And I've been keeping those all aside and working my way through some of those. And it's been, 4 months now of reading through some of those and, having my tastes kind of change or discovering new authors that I want to read or discovering authors I don't care to read anymore. So I've kind of went through and picked out all the ones that I didn't think that I was going to want to read from that list that I had picked ahead of time, and now it's changed. And then I've also purchased a bunch more, found a bunch more that I want to read that I'm adding to that. So it's kind of like an updated list where a few have been removed and more than a few have been removed and more than a few have been added. I have quite a few that are being added. So I was just going to go kind of redo that list of 100 whatever it is. I haven't even counted these. So I'm just going to go through and I'll tell you if this is new or if this was an old one, what have you, and what's on the list. So I picked this one up not too long ago. It is The Chill. I don't know a ton about it. It's supposed to be a horror and a like underwater type thing. So it sounds great to me. Could potentially be right up my alley. So has some cool photos in the beginning, and I'm just curious about it, and I'd like to read it. So we'll see. If anybody knows anything about that one, you can let me know, and we'll find out. This is basically brand new too, so which is great. Have Spacesuit Will Travel by Heinlein. This one was already on my list. It's one of the ones I want to read, as well as Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which I don't know if I actually have in here, but I do want to read those two. I did read Heinlein, and I was kind of about it, but I've heard this one's very good, and I think this one's a little bit more YA-ish, and if I remember correctly, but it's on my list, and that one's staying on the list because I do want to read it. The Integral Trees by Larry Niven. There's more to this story. I think there's 2 more books, if I remember correctly, that come after this. Don't quote me on that. It may just be 1 book. But anyways, there's this was on my list before, and I still want to read it because I've heard excellent things about this book, that it's very enjoyable. Dream Park by Niven and Purnell. And this one I've just heard is fun, enjoyable, and I want to read it. So that one stays on the list. That one hasn't changed. The Vision by Dean Koontz. I have like a million Dean Koontz books, and I decided to pick, I got to read him at some point. So I decided to pick one of those older ones, Vision, as well as Phantoms. So both of these are on my list. If there's a better one, a better Dean Koontz to pick, you can let me know. I don't have really any preference. I just figured these 2 because I have older copies, and I've heard more about these in the past, that they are probably more enjoyable. Sometimes early writing is less enjoyable, but I feel like he's just cranked out a million books since then. So I don't know. My thought process on this isn't the greatest, but if you have a better Dean Koontz to read, let me know. Finally got a copy of Midworld by Alan Dean Foster. I got it a while back, so I added it to the list. I have been looking for this forever, so excited for that one. This I've heard a million things about, The Mountain and the Sea, so I can't wait to read. I think I did a little book haul review or book haul thing about this a while back, but it is going on my TBR for the rest of the year for sure. Metro 2020 or 2033, and I played a little bit of the game back in the day, but I've heard this is good. I've heard a little bit of mixed reviews on it, but I want to read it, and then I want to go play the game. Gives me an excuse to play the game. And so that one's on the list. I just finished The Troop, and so I cannot wait to get to this one. This one will probably be this month. I will read this book because I thoroughly enjoyed The Troop, and I don't know what else Nick Cutter has done. I haven't even looked. Is just these two, or is there more, or what? I gotta find out, because I really enjoyed it, and if there's more like it, I want them. So, but that is on my. I'm gonna set that one actually over here to go by my nightstand, so I can get ready to read it. My in order TBR usually sits on my nightstand, and then I'll go in there and I'll grab whatever ones I want to read. Every once in a while, I'll forget about it and I'll just grab something off the shelf. But I threw this one on here just because it looked really cool. I don't know anything about it. I've been kind of wanting to read random no-name authors that I've never heard anything about, like just completely obscure to me. Like I've never heard a name mentioned. I've never really seen them in an anthology or anything. I just stuff like that. I have seen McFerrin in anthologies or compilation things, but this one just looked excellent, and so I've been wanting to read, random stuff like that that aren't just talked about only on BookTube and like super popular. I want to discover some other new stuff too, so I thought this one looked really good. Xin Lu, is that how you say it? I don't know how you say it, but the Three Body Problem trilogy, Death's End, Dark Forest, and Three Body Problem. I got this one new a while back. I haven't even opened it yet, but it is on my list to read. I want to read it before they come out with the Netflix show, so I can watch that as well. Clown in a Cornfield, Adam Caesar. Picked this one up a while ago without really knowing anything about it. I do have the sequel, so if I read this one and I enjoy it, I'll add the sequel to the list as well. But I've heard this is excellent. Clive Barker says, an author who knows how to make us afraid. So even Clive gave a little blurb on there, which is cool. All right, so Shadows of the Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is a 8-part series, 8 or 9-part series, and I'm pretty sure it's fantasy. I have been wanting to dive into like a big, long, epic series before, and I've been wanting to read Tchaikovsky for a while, so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna go for Tchaikovsky's big series, Shadows of the Apt. I don't know if they're good or not. I'm assuming they are, because it seems like everything that he has written everybody loves. So that one's on my list, and then the following books will be, as I finish, added in there at some point. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This one's been on my list for a while. I've picked it up a few times to read, put it on my TBR, and then scooted it aside for some reason. I don't know. I want to read it, but it just always gets pushed back one more for some reason. So that's on there to read at some point. James Blish, The Testament of Andros. I do enjoy Blish. I've enjoyed a lot of what I've read, and this one, it was just a random Blish pick that I don't think is tied to other ones. Like, oh, is this a short story collection? This one might be shorts. Maybe that's why I grabbed it. Yeah, this one's shorts. So shorts from Blish, which I haven't read. So that one's on there. C.M. Kornbluth, The Syndic. This one was already on the list, so it's staying on the list. And I would just like to read some Kornbluth. Flowers for Algernon. This one was already on the list, I believe, and it is staying on the list as well. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This one was already on the list with just an updated version that I like better. I had the movie tie-in one, so I found an actual copy, and so I'm excited for that. That one has been right at the top of the TBR so many times to read, and I just haven't got to it. Red Mars, Kim Stanley Robinson. This is the Mars Trilogy, Book 1, and I'd like to read all of those. There's Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars. So I don't know if it's that order. It might be Blue Mars, Green Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars. Silverberg, The World Inside. This one is being added based on the recommendations I've heard from like Book Build and many other people, that this is just a phenomenal book. I have not read this one yet, so I'm excited, and that one's on my list now. I've had it on my list. Most of these I've had sitting on the shelf for a couple months, ready to go. The Luminous Dead. I've heard that this one's excellent and will probably be right up my alley since I read Dead Space and it wasn't quite what I wanted, and I'm hoping that this one is a little bit more of what I wanted. So I believe this is undersea adventure type stuff. Sea of Rust. So this is highly recommended, I know, by Jonathan over at Words and Time. So this one is one that I've wanted, and I finally found. Wait, did I don't remember if I bought the paperback online. I think I found it, and then I found this one like the next day at a library sale for $1, which was unreal. So the next two in the Murderbot series, I want to at least complete the first 4, and I may read the other 2 after. I don't know. The first one I didn't really enjoy. The second one was better, so maybe it just gets better as it goes along. We'll see. So we'll see. But I at least want to finish those. They're not super hard reads or anything. So all right, Slugs and Breeding Ground are definitely on my list. These are at the top. This one I was going to try and read this month. I didn't get to. So that one's going back on my nightstand to read. Eric LaRocca. This one I was hoping to get to as well this month, but I didn't. The Trees Grew Because I Bled There. So I have a few LaRoccas that I'd like to read. If I really enjoy this one, I will probably add the other ones into the list as well. So that's going on my nightstand. Another Richard Matheson, Hunted Past Reason. I just love Matheson, and everything I read I love. So I'm adding another Matheson in there just to keep up with my Matheson reading, as well as this Matheson. So these 2 are on my list to be read. I will probably add more as I go throughout the year, because I will finish these and then I'll want another one. So I have only those. No, I might have a third one in here already. Oh, I do have a third one. Here it is. I just saw it. So this one's a short story collection, so different horror stories. So but Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, and then a bunch of other ones. So those 3 by Matheson. I'm gonna go with this one first. This one's going on my list. There we go. All right. The Nest, I definitely want to read. This is not a reprint. This is the real deal, and it is in crazy good shape. So I need to be kind of careful with this one, because I don't want to damage it. But very excited to read that one. It should be great. And I love like animal, bug, horror type stuff, as you can tell here in a moment with these next few. Killer Pack is on my list to read. I think both of these have been added since the beginning of the year. And The Swarm also added on there since the beginning of the year. And Juan at Plague Divisions was saying there was another one by Herzog that's like I think it was like a crazy diet pill or something like that, or crazy something. It doesn't say in here. I think it was called The Crave or Craving or something like that. I haven't found it yet, but I want to find it, and if I do, I'll add that one to the list, because that sounded great when I read the description. Ian Banks, Wasp Factory. This is one that I think I had on the list already that I want to read. I don't know a ton about that one, but I just heard it was good. Here's another new one, Brian Lumley's Necroscope, that I want to add to the list. I have the whole series, and I think there's 7 or 8. And so if I really enjoy this one, I will probably add the next one, and so on throughout the year. So this one just looked cool. It was already on my list. The Solarians by Norman Spinrad. These books are, I mean, they're like 200 pages at most. Yeah, 160 pages. They're pretty easy reads. even if you don't really enjoy it, you can still finish and get through it, no problem. So I don't mind having a bunch of these on my list to read, because I can breeze through it. When if I don't enjoy it, I can breeze through it. If I do enjoy it, I can gobble it up really fast. If it's just okay, I can kind of pick it up, put it down over a course of a couple days. So I don't mind those little short ones at all. I had this one on the list already. I just swapped out the edition. So Starship Troopers is still on my list. Here is just another copy of it. I actually might add this one to my upcoming right now. I think I will. Plague from Space, Harry Harrison. I still have the Death World trilogy coming up here in a moment, and so Harry Harrison's still on the list. That one I already had, so I just added, or I just kept it on there, as well as this one, Lloyd Biggle Jr., The Light That Never Was, I've also kept on there. So both of those are staying on the TBR. 4 for Tomorrow, Roger Zelazny. I think this one was already on there, and so it's staying on there. It just looks interesting to me. And then Camp Concentration by Dish. This is just an updated edition that I'm changing out, but it's still staying on the list. I absolutely love Dish, and I can't wait to read more. There will be more Dish coming up. I had this one on there, Ted Sturgeon, More Than Human, and I was just looking through the other day about what to read, and I realized that it's missing the whole beginning of the book. So this one was on there, and unfortunately it is not in any kind of shape to keep. I hate throwing this stuff away, but this one's pretty much just garbage, so unfortunately. All right, that's very sad. I hate doing that. I really hate doing that. Okay, so I finished Hyperion, and I'm excited to get to the rest. So I have the rest of the Hyperion series on the list. I will definitely be adding this one right away, and then these two, as I finish, will get added. Oh boy, I'm out of space now, aren't I? This is going to topple over at some point. So let me add this over here to my, I'm going to build a big, like, near TBR, and then that'll get whittled down too. So Clive Barker I've really enjoyed. So Books of Blood, I have 3 of them, and I think the other 4, 5, and 6 aren't actually titled Books of Blood, if I remember correctly. There's something else, but I have the first 3 at least. I'd like to read this one because I did really enjoy Clive Barker, and I want to add more Clive. So I just recently added this one because I love this cover so much. I have no idea what this is about or if it's any good. It's probably not. This is strictly based on a cover that it's going on my list. All right, so next up on the list is The Swarm, and I think this is a translated novel, if I remember correctly, but Frank Schatzing. I don't know if this is translated or not. Maybe I misheard that or misremembered that. Anyways, yeah, translated by Sally Ann Spencer. Okay, so it is translated. This is a big chunky boy. It is 898 pages, so that might be the biggest one I have on my list, if you're not including like a full trilogy kind of thing, you know. So that might be the biggest single novel that is on the list. 900 pages. So I've heard a decent amount about that one. That's really good. Altered Carbon is still on my list here that I want to read, so that one stays. Richard Morgan. Blind Sight, I read the other Peter Watts stuff first, which kind of made me a little bit like, I was really excited to read this one. I couldn't wait to get to it, and then I read some other Peter Watts stuff, and I was kind of like, So I'm hoping that I actually enjoy this. I'm hoping that it's good. Apparently it's his best one, so that, you know what, that needs to be read right away. It's got to be read right away. Same as this one, I Am Legend, Richard Matheson. This one's been on the list, and why I keep picking different Richard Mathesons every time, I don't know, but I gotta read this one. So I think I have like 4 or 5 Richard Mathesons on here now. I'll start that today. Stand on Zanzibar, Brunner. Maybe this one's the chunkiest one. Let's see. Nope, 650, 600 something, 660 or so. Not that it really matters. I just got the idea in my head that was the biggest one, and now I have to check. That one's definitely got smaller print though. So, Canonical for Leibowitz. I've heard excellent things about that one as well. So that's staying on the list. This one is a new edition, The Cellar by Richard Lehman. So I have not read any Lehman yet. So I figured I would just pick one, and I picked this one. So if you have a better recommendation for Lehman, you can let me know. I have maybe like 10 different Lehman books. So Slither, John Houken, this I just want to read because it's like, you know, classic 80s awesomeness. Just like Squelch by John Houken, I want to read also. So these are on the list. I absolutely love like Rats and all that I've read. So those ones are staying, as well as Bloodworm I've got to read. So 3 John Houckens. Look at that. I'm excited for those ones because they are like, you know, classic 80s stuff, and I want to read more and more and more classic 80s stuff. So Pin, Andrew Niederman. I talked about this one a little while back, that I picked it up finally, so it is going on the TBR to read for the year. The Forgotten as well. This one just looks really cool. I'm not sure even what this one's all about. I just liked the look of it. It has something to do with being stuck underground and, you know, having to hide from something. So looked good. It is a zebra horror. So one other one that has stayed on the list is Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. That one is on my list. I may read that one with one of my kids. So The Drought by J.G. Ballard, I'd like to read. High Rise by J.G. Ballard also. And The Drowned World by J.G. Ballard, which goes that way. All 3 of those are ones that I want to read based on just knowing that High Rise is really good. And I've heard also that Drought and Drowned World are really good. So excited for those. Slaughterhouse 5 staying on the list. This is an updated cover. Inferno staying on the list. Also, I think an updated cover. I think I had the other one before. Fantastic Voyage by Asimov. I think this is where they got the movie, the inspiration for the movie Inner Space from, and I love that movie. It sounds great to me. I think there's another 50s type movie that was made from that. Corwinner Smith, The Planet Buyer. This one's staying on the list. Scourge of Screamers, Daniel Galouye, staying on the list. All those are from last time. That did not change. Same with this. Deep Six by Jack McDevitt is still staying. It's not changing. Isaac Asimov, The Foundation Trilogy, staying from last time, not changing. I think I added this one, Jack Vance, The Demon Princes. This is the entire Demon Prince collection. It has The Star King, The Killing Machine, The Palace of Love, The Face, and The Book of Dreams. So you see these ones in DAW pretty often, at least The Face I see all the time. And so this is that whole collection in a big fat omnibus. If I was to actually read through the whole thing, it's over close to 1,000 pages. It's 965 pages if I was to read the whole thing. It is 5 stories in one, so that kind of doesn't count as the biggest one. Cormac McCarthy, The Road, staying on the list. Triplicity by Thomas Dish. This has 3 novels in one. It has Echo Round His Bones, The Genocides, and Puppies of Terra. I sadly sold off, I guess, my copy of Puppies in Terra a long time ago. I went back looking for it, took everything off my shelves, couldn't find it, and unfortunately I think I sold it. But I have read The Genocides already, so I just want to read these other 2. So Genocides was already read this year. I'll read the other two in that, and then that'll be, you know, fully read. I'll probably read one of them at one point and one at another point. So Ring Shout, I've heard this is super good, so this one's being added. It's new to the list. Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So this is the other series from Tchaikovsky that is a 3-part series, I believe. Children of Time, I think it's like Children of Ruin and something else, I can't remember right now, but this one's supposed to be excellent. This series is supposed to be excellent, and I'm really looking forward to getting to Tchaikovsky. Those I had to order. I've like never found a Tchaikovsky in the wild. So the only manga that made it to the list so far is this one, and this one looks fantastic. I think it's Abra Deluxe Edition. This, I mean, that's like a mix of the Shrike and Venom. Like, that just looks freaking cool. So I'm very excited to get through this one. There is some color photos and color pages in here, which is a trip. So this one is being added as a new, and I may read one a month or something of those. I don't know, I'm kind of digging them. Staying on the list, Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood End. That one is one that I've had on there for a while. Clifford Simak, Destiny Doll. Robert Heinlein's Glory Road. I covered the didn't want to get censored dinged on YouTube. Hal Clement's Needle. This is an updated copy, but still on the list. I probably wouldn't get censored. I'm just saying. Just thought it was funny. William Gibson, Burning Crown. This one is an edition. Aliens is still on the list. I already read Alien, the first one, and now Aliens I would like to read as well. And I think I had all of them on there at some point. So I had all the Alien Covenant, Alien everything, but I think I only kept this one and Aliens 3 because those 3 are done by Dean Foster, and I didn't want to bog down my whole list with just all Alien stuff. So because I have like there's probably like 8 or 9 that are after Aliens 3, so it just would be a lot. So Olaf Stapleton, Sirius. I don't know anything about this. I just haven't read any Stapleton, so I want to read, and this one looked great. So I really honestly don't know anything about that one. Stone God Awakes, Philip Jose Farmer. I thought I had a better copy in here, but I don't know what I did with it. So maybe it's around somewhere and I'll find it. But that copy's not bad though. John Scalzi. So I'm loving the Old Man War series, and this is his other series. So there's 3, I believe, in this one: Lock In and Heads Up, and another one. But this one I wanted to start and get into that series as well. So that one's added, and if it's anything like Old Man's War, I'm gonna absolutely love it. So I did finish the first 2 in the Old Man's War this year so far, so this is the 3rd that I'm adding to the list. So Last Colony, so it's in there as well. I can't wait to get to that. This one just looked interesting. The premise is neat, and John Lymington, it's another kind of unknown one to me. A Sword Above the Night. So I've added this one because I wanted, like I said, I wanted to add a few more that I'm not familiar with. Earth Abides by George Stewart. Just a classic novel that has to be read at some point. Another one I don't really know anything about, but the cover looked great, and kind of an unknown one to me is D. Keith Mono, The Bridge. Looks really interesting, and so another one of those not heard of on the list. Where Late the Sweet Bird Sings, Kate Wilhelm, Sarah Nebula Award winner, and so that one's on the list. Flatland, this one I've heard just good things about, that I wanted to add it on there. It's supposed to be, I think, a romance type story. Day of the Triffids, John Wyndham. Absolutely been wanting to read this for a long time, and I finally found a copy. I have another copy around somewhere. Not sure which cover I like best, but that's not a bad cover. Tanith Lee. I've been wanting to read some more Tanith Lee as well, so Don't Bite the Sun. This is just a nice short daw, good shape looking one, so figured I'd add that one. And I've heard Doris Pisercia is a pretty wild author, and this one looked great, The Spinner. So I'm excited for that one, as well as Earth and Twilight. Look at that cover. I mean, fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. So those I added to my list. I also added another Pisercia, which is right here. Which I first saw this one on Bob's Books, and I was like, that cover is freaking awesome. It's just wild. Like, you got like dinosaurs standing up and stuff. So I don't know what it's about. I have the paperback one, and it does not look like this. So this cover is kind of maybe misleading or deceiving. I don't know. We'll see. So those are on there. So Clive Barker, I was trying to pick one, so I ended up picking two. I picked The Inhuman Condition to read. I don't know which ones are best. I did read Hellbound Heart, and I also want to read Thief of Always. So maybe if there's another Clive I should add on there, you can let me know. This one I found randomly a while ago, and it just looked great and sounds great, and so I threw it on there to read. I don't really know anything about it. I've never heard of Joe Chinakis. So The Little People by John Christopher. This is a very famous paperback from hell. When you see the original paperback cover, not this hardcover obviously, but I can't wait to read it. It sounds fantastic. I've heard it's pretty good for the most part, and then kind of dies off at the end, but that's okay. Killer, Peter Tonkin. Also wish I had the other cover, but this is fine. Excellent. Sounds great. Another 80s. Skin by Kathy Koja. So I have Bad Brains I'm working on right now, which is, I think I threw it in here. Yeah, it's in here just to show you, but Skin also is on the list. These ones were on my list for the month that I didn't finish or didn't get to yet. Snowman, so this one will go right back on the upcoming TBR because I didn't quite get to it this month. Bad Brains, I did not finish yet. My bookmark's falling out. And so that one will be completed by the end of the month, hopefully. Fahrenheit 451, staying on the list. Hot House was added to the list by Brian Aldiss. So these two, and I had these on the side of my bed to read as well. Same with this one, Death Tour. This one's been sitting next to my bed since like January, I think. So that's kind of bad. I need to just grab it and read it. Armor, been wanting to read this one for a while. This one has stayed, it was on the list, it is staying on the list, so to read. Let's see here, we're almost there. I know this is a lot, but this is a year's worth, and I don't know how many I read this month, but I read at least 15 this month, so it's not out of control. War of the Worlds, it's just when I want to add stuff to it and change it. That's the bad part. Sequel to Starfish, Maelstrom. This is the one I was talking about a little bit earlier. So I hadn't really wanted to read it, and then now I do want to read it because it's kind of grown on me a little bit. Fangs, this one just looks good. Just looks fun. William Dobson, I don't really know anything about it, but I mean, this looks great. Same with this, Orca, Herzog. Like what I was talking about earlier. Let's see if it's written in this one, that other one I was mentioning. Nope, no list of any books in here. Okay, so, but same author as The Swarm. This one looks fantastic. Look at this wraparound cover. Oh yeah, that's great. So, can't wait to read that one. Frederick Pohl's Gateway. This is Hugo and Nebula award-winning novel. This is followed up by Beyond the Blue Horizon, I think, and then Hichi, and then the Annals of Hichi. Oh, another Brave New World. So I already have that other one in there. So I'm not gonna, probably won't read it twice. Tau Zero, Paul Anderson. His nominated for Hugo Award, but his very famous novel as well. Dream Master by Roger Zelazny. These are all ones that have been on here. They're staying on here. Same with this one, Black Canaan, from the author of Conan, Robert Howard. That's staying on there. I think I added this one, Robert Silverberg, Dying Inside. Pretty sure I added this one, as well as the Cosmic Rape by Silverberg. That one's staying. Or I added it. I can't remember now. I'm just getting tired. So here's my Death World trilogy that I'm going to work through with Harry Harrison. Roadside Picnic is still on my list. I think this one was already on there, if I remember right. That one's the Strugatsky brothers. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I have a million copies, but this is my favorite hardcover copy that I have of that. Australia, still on the list to read. Devil's Day by James Blish. So this has the Black Easter and Day of Judgment in the one volume. Dr. Moralibus should be in here, but I don't see it. So I have Dr. Moralibus on the list to read. It's around somewhere. Liege Killer by Christopher Heinz. And this one I've been wanting to read for a while, just mostly based on that cover. I finally found a copy of this yesterday, Fight Club. It's the first time I found it, so I'm excited to read that one. That one I've been wanting to read for a while. Sparrow, Mary Doria Russell. Heard some good and bads about this one. We'll see. But it's on my list to read. Don't know. Neil Asher, Dark Intelligence. I think this is the only Asher book that I have. And I believe this is book 1. Yeah, Transformation book 1. So I wanted to give that a shot. This is Big Boy 2, but it's about 400 pages. So, and then the full Dying Earth series by Jack Vance is on my list as well. So this is all 4 of the novels. I haven't kept all the other ones. I have had them and sold them and had them and sold them, and I have a couple of them still, but I think I have Dying Earth and Eyes of the Overworld. Then there's Cudgel's Saga and Rialto the Marvelous. So there's those ones. And then last, I think here is The Martian by Andy Weir that I've been wanting to read. And so I will get to that. Then anything else that I'm going to add will be, I will definitely be having Stephen King books added in throughout the month. I try to read at least 1 Stephen King a month, sometimes 2. So those are just going to randomly be added in there throughout as I go. And I'm sure I will pick up other things along the way that I'm like, oh, I really wanted to read this. And so I'll add it in. So I'll probably, maybe in another 4 months or so, give another update. And then when we get to the end of the year, we'll give a final tally of everything and the, total of what was read. And then I could start a new TBR or something. So, that's it for now. That's all of my updated TBR for the year. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. And let me know if there's any on your list that you're dying to read, or any of these authors that have a better book that I should add instead of what I'm hoping for. So let me know, and talk to you soon.